Welcome to Unpattern. Today we're diving into something really profound, a healing approach called Family Constellation. It's a pretty unique way to look at the invisible ties that connect us to our ancestors and to see the hidden dynamics that are playing out in our families and, ultimately within ourselves. So let me start by asking you a question and see if it resonates. Have you ever felt like a part of you is, scattered or just lost? Maybe you've had a feeling you can't quite put your finger on, a sense that some of your struggles or anxieties aren't entirely yours. When you think about what we inherit from our families, our minds usually go straight to genetics, right? Eye color, height, things like that. But what if we inherit the emotional stories too? That's what this is all about. The idea that their trauma, their resilience, their silence, it's all passed down to us as this powerful unspoken inheritance. And for a lot of people, this journey starts with a really deep personal need to heal. It's about tracing those emotional threads back through your family tree from your mother to her mother and even further back. And having that aha moment when you realize their stories, their pain, their survival, it's like living in your very bones. These inherited patterns can show up in surprising ways. You might find yourself carrying a sadness you just can't explain, or maybe a pattern of keeping quiet that is echoed through the generations. It's almost like being given these family heirlooms that nobody ever really asked for. So if we're carrying all this stuff, how in the world do you even begin to understand it? Well, the process is a bit like becoming a detective of your own soul. You're searching for clues, trying to make sense of the part of yourself that just feel unresolved. And that's really the heart of Family Constellation. It's a way of looking at the entire family system, kind of zooming out to see the bigger picture, and doing this helps us find and understand those pieces of ourselves that feel fragmented or disconnected. So this investigation is pretty structured. We look for those broken pieces and hidden patterns down two main avenues. Your matriarchal line, so your mothers and grandmothers, and your patriarchal line, your fathers and grandfathers. What did the women in your family go through? And what about the men? Both lines are absolutely crucial to the emotional legacy you're carrying today. But here's a really important distinction. Even though we talk about being a detective, this isn't some aggressive kick down the door kind of investigation. It's actually much better described as being an archaeologist of the heart. It takes a ton of care, a ton of patience, and real gentleness to uncover what's been buried for so long. The detective in you is actively seeking for clues, trying to piece together something that feels lost. But the archaeologist in you, that's the part that gently brushes away the dust, revealing what was always there, just hidden under all those layers of time. And you really need both. You can almost see this process in three clear steps. First, you uncover, you find those broken pieces, the story that got buried in the family line. Then you identify, you start to recognize the patterns that were created and passed down. And finally, you reveal, you gently brush away all the dust to see the truth that was there all along. And this right here gets us to the ultimate goal of all this work. See, it isn't just about digging up the past for history's sake. It's about healing that past so you can truly reclaim your present and really live in it. Because at its core, this exploration is an act of healing. The mission, if you want to call it that, is to restore the flow of love and connection back through the family line. And that's not just for your own benefit, but for the generations that come after you too. It really is a profound process of reassembly. It's about taking those scattered pieces of ourselves we talked about in the beginning and putting them back into a whole. And you do it not with judgment, but with immense compassion and a real commitment to the truth. So this whole journey really leads you to these three powerful outcomes. First, to restore a real felt connection to your roots and to yourself. Second, to cultivate a deep compassion for your ancestors in everything they went through. And finally, to embrace the full honest truth of your family story and your own. The people who facilitate this kind of work often describe it as a sacred privilege. And you can see why, because you get to witness someone on this incredible journey of coming home, of returning to their true whole self. And that's a pretty amazing thing to see. And this leaves us with a final thought to kind of just sit with. If your family history could speak, what stories of pain, of resilience, of silence and survival might be waiting for you to finally hear? Thank you so much for joining me here today and listening to this episode of Unpatterned. If you'd like to find out more about family constellations, please visit my website. I'll put the links below. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at Unpatterned by Minky K. Till next time, when we dive deep into patterns that keep us stuck, take care and be kind.